You want to break into a Wayland Yutani ship and steal highly regulated equipment?
Before someone else does.
You guys are insane.
Of course we are.
not. This is...
You're listening to Fun with Horror with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hey, beautiful people, it's me, Andrew.
And it's me, a Scotty.
Welcome to episode 145 of Fun with Horror, the most wholesome horror movie podcast in the entire world. This is the podcast in which two long-distance best friends stay in touch by taking turns giving each other horror movies to watch and discuss.
That's right. Way back in 2024, last year sometime, it was my choice, and I picked Fede Alvarez's Alien Romulus. I tried to do it like you do, but I can't do it.
I liked it.
But anyway, stay tuned to the end of this episode when everybody that's listening gets to find out what Andrew is picking for our next movie. But until then, hi, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Buddy, how are you? How are you
It's
doing,
fine.
man?
It's all fine. Everything's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, good. Fine. Good. Yeah.
I was talking to our friend Sam from Chuddle the Pod online, and I posted the little gif of the dog surrounded by fire saying, "It's fine." And Sam was like, that gif has never been more true.
Yeah. Oh, seriously, man. Yeah.
So yeah, as we're recording this, LA is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. It's very stressful. And my mental health has been not great because I've been anxious every single night. One thing I am going to say on a positive note is that it's been really nice to see how everybody in the city has come together to help everybody who has lost things.
Yeah.
And it's also, on the other side, been very disheartening to see everybody out there that wants to see Los Angeles burn, which is depressing. Nobody deserves to feel like that, and I hate it. So if you're out there and you're saying, hey, Los Angeles deserves it, they deserve to burn in hell for all their sins, then, maybe think about what you're doing in life.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't wish this on anybody,
No. And I mean, there's so many trolls out there, but I'm going to piggyback on the good that you said. And I will say this is, obviously, we've seen, devastation and awful things. But I will say, seeing like just on the news when you turn it on, the good stories of people that are helping, it's really nice to see that and just see that there are a lot of people that are there just to help. And I think that's really wonderful. But yeah, it's hard to watch, man. And I'm praying for you and sending good vibes, buddy. I love you dearly, and let's get this over with.
Yeah. This is airing on Tuesday, and hopefully we're okay on Tuesday because we're supposed to get some winds back. And, I'm not near the fires right now, but believe me, this is the first time that I have ever felt like I needed to put an evacuation bag together, and it's all ready. My cat carriers are out, so I can whisk away Bowie and Ziggy if I need to.
Yeah.
So, and I just want this anxiety to be over. And I want this city to start rebuilding that process,
For sure.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to start this episode by saying Happy New Year, but I'm not even going to say that because this year sucks. This is a terrible year.
It has not started well.
No.
But, I mean, you know what they say, though? Like, it's only up from here, so hopefully we get some... we're starting it rough. Maybe it'll get... You know what? It will. It's not even a maybe. It's going to get great after this. We're starting down at the bottom. It's going to get much better.
That's right.
All right. Yeah.
And we don't want to bring everybody down. This is fun with horror.
It is. But wait, we did absolutely needed to bring that up and talk.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
that.
we're always transparent about what's going on.
For sure.
In other news,
Yeah.
our last episode was our resolutions and year-end review, and if people listened, they will remember that my number one movie that I wanted to see that I missed last year was I Saw the TV Glow.
Right. Yes.
I watched it, buddy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that movie jumped up to my second favorite horror movie of the year.
Wow. Okay.
There's a lot of conversation around if it's a horror movie or not. And at first glance, when you watch the movie, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a horror movie.
Okay.
But it is a very different type of horror movie. And I felt a certain way by the end of the movie, and I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I felt a certain way by the end of the movie. And it prompted me to go online, look up interpretations of the movie and reviews. And as soon as I read those reviews and I realized what the movie was actually saying and what it was about, especially to certain people out there, I just thought it is a horror movie. It's a different type of horror movie. It's a horror movie about being trapped inside a person that you don't want to be.
Okay.
That's all I'm really going to say. But that is
Interesting.
pretty terrifying to a certain group of people, or
For sure.
anybody.
Yeah.
So I threw it way up there. I just thought it was a brilliant movie, and it really moved me. And there was one review on Letterboxd in particular. I think it's the top review right now if you go there. And when I read that review, I actually started crying because the movie affected me and that review affected me. And I thought it's just a fantastic movie. So
Wow. Okay. I'm excited. This is one I literally know nothing about it. Not one single thing. I don't even know who's in it. I know nothing. So I'm excited for that one.
Well, now you know a little bit about it.
I know. You're right. Yes. Now I know a little bit.
How has Enzo been, buddy? Let's talk about
buddy.
Enzo's puke.
Yeah, 2025, everybody. Yeah, he woke up the other night at 2 a.m. crying, and we looked on the monitor, and we could see on the monitor something was in the crib with him. We went, uh-oh, and went in there and saw that he did his best impression of Linda Blair from The Exorcist, excuse me, and it was just all over. It was all over. Oh, and it was just all night until about 9 a.m. It was just like clockwork. About every half hour, by the end, both my wife and I are like, how is there still stuff in him? Like, how? This is insane.
That's horrible. But he's doing better now?
He's doing better. Yep. He's doing a lot better. He's still a little whiny, but that's to be expected. And he's, knock on wood, not throwing up. So yeah, it was just. And then I had a class the next day for work and a test, and I was like, oh man, this is just. Oy.
It was funny the way you described looking at the monitor, though, because you said there was something in the crib with him, and that's how a lot of horror movies start.
That's true. It was the blob, but just not
the chunky blob.
The chunky blob.
In much better news, buddy, we have some reviews and comments to read.
Yay!
So I'm going to start us off real quick because I mentioned our last episode. We actually got a comment on Spotify.
Awesome. Yes.
And it was from Claire, and she asked, did you all watch The Forest Hills? Great episode. And I don't know if this is a new thing, but I replied to her because you can now reply to these comments, and I don't know if you were able to before, but I did, and I said, we haven't seen it. What did you think of it? And that's it. But that's it. We have not seen The Forest Hills. I don't think you have either. It's the one with Shelley Duvall. It's her last movie.
Right. No, I have not.
I will say, I don't like to judge a movie without having seen it, but our good friend Justin Beam, when he was on this episode, I think we mentioned The Forest Hills in that episode, and he didn't care for it.
Ah, yes.
So, but there you go.
There you go. All right. And then we have another review. Oh, my goodness.
Where is this one?
This one is through the Apple Podcast. This is an Apple Podcast review.
That's right.
Right? And so the title, let me say who it's from. This was written by Dr. Eric777. So probably won the lotto at Vegas. You need those 3 sevens. No, it says for the title, Too Much Fun with Horror.
Too much. Too much,
yeah. It's a good review.
We feel the same way. It's
right?
just too much.
It's too much. We're done with this. Gosh, 2025. No, Too Much Fun with Horror. It says, I love this podcast. The content is excellent. Great reviews of the movies and in-depth research and trivia. Never boring, and the back and forth between Andrew and Scotty is lovely and sincere. Feels like...
lively.
Oh, lively. You're right. Lively. I'm so sorry. Is lively and sincere. Feels like talking about a movie with great friends. Highly recommend. That's so sweet. I love that.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Eric. That is so awesome. Thank you so much.
And for all the money that we made from that comment, Dr. Eric, we are getting Andrew literacy lessons so he can learn how to read.
The fact that no wonder I didn't make it as an actor.
Yeah. Ariana Grande was like, this guy can't even read. Kick him off the show.
She's like, what lines are you reading? I was like, I go with the squiggles. I just make it up.
But you know what I heard Ariana Grande did say about you? Was that you were wicked smart. That makes no sense. But I just wanted to fit wicked in there.
She just moved to Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear about the guy, Andrew, who lost his left side?
No, what, Scotty?
He's all right.
Are you sure you want to do this?
I have just one directive. To do what's best for Rain. Your dad wrote it.
Yeah. That and too many dad jokes.
I'm happy to help.
Alien Romulus was directed by Fede Alvarez. It was written by Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayagues. It stars Cailee Spaeny as Rain, David Jonsson as Andy, Archie Renoux as Tyler, Isabela Merced as Kay, Spike Fearn as Bjorn, and Aileen Wu as Navarro.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it. Well, buddy, like we do, people want to know right now, right at this moment. What do you think of this movie? Without spoilers yet.
Without
people.
spoilers. Yeah, we're not going to spoil the movie right now. And I picked this movie. It's one of my top 5 movies of last year.
Nice.
Let me check real quick. It was my 4th favorite horror movie of last year. And
nice.
It was number 6 in all of the new movies I saw last year.
Nice. That's really good.
The real question, though, is what did you think of Alien Romulus, buddy? This was your first time.
This was, buddy. If we had redone the list, this may have been my favorite movie of last year, horror movie.
And that would have been over Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say this right now.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, Abigail or Alien Romulus, what would you pick?
Man, I don't know. That's tough. I really can't think right now. I think I'd have to flip a coin. I'd have to flip a coin.
And then you wouldn't be able to watch the other movie for the rest of your life.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
well, that's how you pick.
That.
That's how you pick your favorite. That's my
too
method.
Hard.
No, it's not. It's the best way because it is a hard choice. And you're like, okay, if I could only watch one of these 2 movies for the rest of my life and I wasn't allowed to watch the other one, which movie would I pick? And that's what I do every day when I pick between Bowie and Ziggy, my cats.
Oh no, that's real Sophie's choice there, buddy.
And of course, you're talking about Sophie Thatcher from Yellow Jackets.
That's right. That's exactly right. Her new movie's coming out soon, but we'll talk about that another time.
We'll talk about it later. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you love it that much.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
That's great. Would you? Okay, now if you had to pick this movie or Skinamarink, which one would you pick?
I would literally take any movie in the world over Skinamarink. Maybe that's
Wow.
not true, but yeah, I definitely...
Skinamarink or Beetlejuice? This is fun.
Oh, I'd still pick Beetlejuice over Skinamarink.
Yes.
Man, you know, I can look at a wall in my house for 2 hours anytime, so...
Yes, but what would that wall signify to you? Would it signify that you're stuck in a coma and that you're being haunted by the demons that you only knew for the first few years of your life because you haven't been around that long?
No, it'd signify a waste of an hour and a half.
I mean, this is let's just go off on a tangent here with Skinamarink. And I'm going to see if I can get you to appreciate this movie right now in this instant, okay?
Please go for it. Good luck.
Imagine, okay, I don't want you to imagine too hard because this is horrible, but imagine
Oh, no.
that Enzo falls down the stairs and goes into a concussion and coma.
Yikes.
And this is what's in his head as he's in the hospital in a coma. Now, is that movie scary?
No, he's probably bored. He's like, gosh, I wish I could literally do anything else.
I'm just staring at this corner. I can't see anything else. Man, my life is so short that I haven't seen much. And this is what I have to live. But that's scary to me. Like, you're stuck with that because you haven't seen the world. So all you can see is this dark apartment, this dark house. In this house. Anyway, I guess we should get back to Alien Romulus.
Yeah, let's go to a movie that I really liked.
But Skinamarink, one of our top 5 episodes ever listened to. So there you go.
Okay.
So now we're going to go into spoiler territory. This is going to be an interesting spoiler warning here because I've thought about this long and hard. We're going to spoil Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
In doing so, we will probably be spoiling the original Alien.
We for sure will be spoiling the original Alien.
And then we'll probably be talking a bit about the lore that goes into Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll be spoiling those movies per se too much. In fact, we may actually, I don't know, heighten somebody's viewing of those movies if they don't really know what they're about. I don't know. I don't know how far down this rabbit hole we're going to go. But that's your warning.
There you go. Game on, people. All right. And as I'm looking, you can't see this, but Scotty is getting a virtual die ready with 20 sides. And if it is even, Scotty will be doing the 3-minute recap of Alien Romulus. If it is odd, I will be doing a terrible recap of Alien Romulus. So, fingers crossed that it's even, everybody.
Well, you just tell me when to stop, buddy.
I'll stop right now.
All right. That is 19. That means you're doing it.
Oh, fudge.
Andrew Romulus.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the great thing, buddy, is that I called Cailee Spaeny. And she said she absolutely adores the way that you do 3-minute recaps, so she's really looking forward to listening to you do it.
She's the best. What a sweet.
But she also said that she is going to inject you with black goo if you do not come in under 3 minutes.
Well, joke's on her. I've already injected myself with the black goo.
Oh, my God. And you're going to give birth.
You know what? I live on the edge. I don't care. 2025.
All right, buddy. Whenever you are ready.
Let me get my IMDb ready because I'll forget names. Okay.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Here we go. The movie starts with Rain, who's on a planet with her quote-unquote brother, Andy, who's an android. We find out right away. And she has just finished working all the hours she needs to be able to actually leave the planet that she's working on. However, when she goes to turn in her hours, they say, oh, we changed the rules. You have to work like another 10 years. She's like, what? That's not fair, which is not fair. So she goes home, mad. Her group of friends that she hasn't seen in a while go and meet with her. So we want to talk to you about something. They go and visit, and they say, we found a ship right outside this planet. It has some the sleeping pods on it, and we think we can utilize those and actually go to the planet that you want to go to and get out of here without having to do those extra hours. That's unfair. The reason we want you to go, though, is we need Andy, her brother, because her brother is made by Wayland. Is that right?
Wayland Yutani.
Thank you. I'm just going to say Wayland, though, to make this easier. So by Wayland...
Or you could say Wayu, as they say in the movie.
You're right.
Wayu.
All right. Wayu. Made by Wayu. So that he can unlock the doors needed to get into the ship. Rain is hesitant, but agrees to it. And so they decide to go up to the ship. They get up there, and they see that, when they get in, they see that things have gone haywire. And it's here's your spoiler, everybody. It's the ship from Alien. What? Or it's the whatever you call it from Alien, isn't it?
Nope.
No? Then why was
messed up?
Okay, we'll cut this out. What is it?
No, we're not going to cut it out.
Well, Rook is there.
No. All right, just keep going. This is not the ship from Alien, but keep going.
Okay, I assumed it was because I was like, Rook's there, all cut up in half.
We're going to go over this really hard after this.
Good, because I do want to talk to you about the first Alien movie. We need to talk. Anyway, Rook is there, the spoiler android from the first one, and is trying to work with them, wink, wink, to make everything better. They take a piece of his chip, if you will, and put it in Andy. And I forgot to mention that Andy is he's a broken android. He doesn't work very well. He makes a lot of jokes and is just, not fully there. Once they put this chip in him, he becomes very alert and very smart. And we see that he is going to actually kind of work with the alien like Rook did. Anyway, I mean, in all honesty, we're going to talk about all this, and I already have messed up enough that I don't really want to continue much. So I'm just going to say it's a cat and mouse chase through most of the movie. In the end, Rain and Andy are the only survivors that get away after killing the aliens, and they get away. That's all I'm going to say, dude.
I mean, you came in just under 3 minutes, but you glossed over the best parts of the movie.
Because we're going to talk about them.
Man, what about the xenomorph that chases them through the Romulus module, and what about the final creature at the end? Jeez.
Well, are we not going to talk about those?
Yeah, but that's a 3-minute recap.
There you go.
No,
I hate the 3-minute recap.
Man,
I hate it.
People out there have no idea what this movie's about if they haven't seen it. They're like, what the hell?
Good. They can listen to the rest of the podcast.
I'm not even sending you the cure to that black goo that you injected yourself with.
Good. No, yeah, we need to talk about this, but because that's not the ship. So why is Rook there?
It's really, because there's different copies of the same android models. The alien or the android in Alien was Ash.
Oh.
Rook is the name of this one, but it's the same model.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, cool.
See, now I'm really, really kind of wishing that we had done a whole series and started with Prometheus.
But here's the thing. So you're gonna hate me, and that's fine. And actually, a lot of people are. But you and I had talked, and you said, it'd be good if you watched Alien. So here's the kicker, buddy. I've never really been a big fan of Alien. I didn't love Alien. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay.
Did you rewatch it?
I tried and was so bored that I had to turn it off. Mind you, I did watch Alien Romulus before it because I was like, I remember not being a huge fan of Alien, so I'm going to watch this. I loved this one. And I was like, oh man, now I'm pumped to watch it. And I started and I got maybe a half hour, 40 minutes in. And I was like, oh man, I am dragging right now. I cannot get into this. I
don't often say that somebody's opinion is wrong, but wow. Wow.
And I was thinking about this, though. I was like, maybe it's, people that, and I'm curious, too. I mean, people that grew up with this, of course, grew up with it and have more feeling towards it. That makes sense. But I'm like, I wonder if that's why? I don't know. But
I honestly, with Alien, I don't think so, because there's plenty of people who didn't see Alien until later in life, but they still love it because it's one of very few movies that really, really holds up, special effects wise and everything.
I'll say that. Yeah, that's fair. Totally.
I mean,
that's
how
fair.
far? It sounds like you didn't even get to the xenomorph in Alien,
No.
The best part.
No. And I remembered those. I mean, I know those scenes. I've seen those scenes since, seeing this before, but I mean, yeah, I just like it just drags to me, and so I just did not want to go into it, man.
I mean, I get. So here's the thing. I get you saying that it drags at the beginning because, yeah, I mean, one of the things about Alien is that they give the movie time. You know, there's a lot of things that happen before the alien is birthed and starts. Like half the movie is spent before the alien even appears in that movie, or the xenomorph. But like the second half of that movie is freaking brilliant, and I can't see how anybody could say that the second half of Alien is slow. So I wish you had kept watching. Like, how many times have you seen it?
I don't know, a few. No, I've seen it a few times. I don't know how many. But here's the thing. It surprises me because, it surprises me because you're such a fan of slashers. And Alien, even though it takes place in space and it's a completely different life form, it is in its essence a slasher movie. Right.
You know, because you have this villain, if you will, going around this ship where they can't escape. They're in the middle of space, which is even more terrifying. And it is...
Can't even hear you scream.
It's systematically killing off this crew.
Right.
I'm going to spoil Alien. I mean, most everybody's seen it, but it also is one of the very first movies to have a false ending where you think that Ripley has escaped and you're in the denouement, or the final part of the movie and the ending, and suddenly it's not over yet because the alien, the xenomorph, is in the escape pod with her. And then you have that whole scene, which is such an amazingly tense scene and done so well.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you like Romulus so much, which did such an amazing job of paying homage to Alien, and Aliens to an extent, but Alien mostly, because this movie does take place between Alien and Aliens.
Did you just say mostly?
I did. But I'm so disillusioned right now that I'm not even going to... Because we watched Aliens together, the second movie.
We did.
And you do like that one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if I remember right, I did. Or it's been a while.
Well, I mean, you enjoyed it when we watched it together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yep.
I'm just shocked. I'm shocked right now. I don't hate you. I would never hate you over an opinion, but I am shocked. I am very shocked.
And I almost wonder, too, if it's because I watched Romulus right before. And here's the thing, because watching it, like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, like, almost immediately, I really liked these characters. Even, I mean, the whole crew, I'm just, like, I kind of got invested in them pretty quick. Whereas Alien, I wasn't really invested in anybody. I was like, okay. I don't know. No one, like, I was like, wow, these are really cool characters. I more was just like, okay, cool. You're all on a ship. I don't know. This one, I just felt like, wow, I like these characters, and I know they're not going to make it, but I enjoy who they are, and I'm excited to see their their short journey. Yeah, and I just was not feeling that in restarting Alien.
Interesting.
I know.
Interesting.
I know.
Well, I mean, no, I wouldn't say that. I was actually going to say, I would say that the characters in Romulus are slightly more likable than the characters in Alien, but no, that's not true at all, because I didn't really, as a character, I didn't really like Bjorn. I thought he was a prick, you know?
Me too.
But, you know, I liked all the other characters, and I liked all the other characters in Alien.
Right.
You know, I liked Dallas, I liked Lambert, I liked everybody. I thought the engineers in Alien were very realistic. They acted like real engineers, and I mean, that's the story of Alien is just such a good, well done story where there are layers, just like in Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, things that you wouldn't really feel because you saw it later and you already knew certain things going into Alien. But you got to think back in the 70s when Alien came out, people went to see this movie, and because they're so accustomed to male heroes,
right,
they thought Dallas was the main character and that he was going to be the one to last all the way to the end.
Right. That's that's funny.
So when he dies like halfway through the movie, or a little over halfway, everybody was shocked. Like, what the hell?
Right.
He can't be dead. What? yeah, then you had the rise of Ripley, who you didn't like. Once Dallas died, you had no idea who would survive or if anybody would. And then you had the whole thing with Ash, who we didn't know about androids in the Alien universe yet. So you saw Ash and you saw Ian Holm as Ash, and you thought he was just another member of the crew.
Right.
And then suddenly you're like, what the hell? He's an android?
Yeah.
You know, that's things that you kind of have to put yourself in the shoes of people who saw it way back then and realize how surprising a lot of that movie was. And
I get that. It's not going to change my opinion, though, buddy. Like, I totally get it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, because I'm putting myself in their shoes, I like it better. No, I'm still going to enjoy it the way I like it.
Well, let's talk about Romulus then.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you didn't care for in this movie?
No, actually, I don't have anything. I really don't.
You loved the CG of Rook?
Yes, and here's why. I'm going to explain this. So, yeah, I know the mouth especially, and I've noticed that with any, I was going to bring this up, I've noticed that with any, like, movie or show that have done this where they've taken an actor that's passed away, hopefully got, like, rights and stuff from family. I'm not sure how that works, but...
They did.
Okay, wonderful. Good. That's what I was hoping and assuming. But I've noticed in every single time that they do this, the mouth is always just off. It's not quite right. You know what I mean? Just some of the words, and yeah, eyes too, but the mouth especially, for me anyway, and I think it's because I look at mouths. That's what I can pick out a smile from 100 people because I look at mouths. That's what I do. That being said, this one's mouth was off, you know, but I sat there and I was like, well, but I'm gonna give it to them. Other movies and stuff, I don't. But this one I am, because he's an android. He's not human. He's broken. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm okay with it. I'm gonna be like, you know what? He's broken. He's gonna be a little off. That's okay. So this was one that I've watched some other shows and movies where I'm like, that guys, you shouldn't have done it. Maybe do something different. This one I let slide because I went, he's a broken robot. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel that way. A lot of people did not feel that way because even though he's an android, he's not supposed to look like weird CG, and his eyes aren't supposed to look like they're not in the same universe as everything else there.
Right.
So a lot of people, myself included, complained that the moment they put him up on the desk and you saw his face, it just took me straight out of the movie.
Oh, shoot.
And I was thinking about, oh, this is CG. This doesn't feel real to me anymore. I'm watching a movie now instead of my immersion from everything before that moment. So now, interestingly enough, just yesterday, articles came out that were saying that Fede Alvarez also wasn't happy with the CG.
Okay.
Because basically what they did is it is a actual practical robot that is designed to look like Ian Holm.
Wow.
And they put CG over his face to accentuate his mouth and eye movements.
Okay. Interesting.
So even Fede said he was not super happy with it and that they were going to fix it for home release. And that's all they said. So one would assume that that mainly means the Blu-ray.
Right.
But also I would hope that they would update it for the digital releases as well.
Right.
Because this movie is about to hit Disney Plus. I think it's been on Hulu, but
no,
I think it's up.
Oh, right. I think I saw it on Disney already.
It said the 15th, I believe.
Okay.
So we haven't reached that. You might have seen it on Hulu,
maybe
through Disney Plus, but yeah, it was on. I believe it was on Hulu before, and now it's they're advertising that it's coming to Disney Plus. So
cool.
I'm interested to see what they do. When I was watching a couple scenes today, it still looked pretty much the same to me. You know, I couldn't tell if my imagination was sitting there going, "Oh, this looks slightly better," but I don't think so because it was still very much CG. And from what I read, Fede is going back to more of the animatronic that they created as Rook. So there was that.
Okay.
And the other thing, and this is, now I know why this doesn't bother you as much, because you're not in love with this universe. There is the scene, and this is something that bothered me the moment I saw the movie, and it still bothers me, and I just wish it wasn't there. I have no problem with all of the mini callbacks to the other Alien movies.
Right, okay.
They even put in some stuff from the video game, Alien Isolation. They put in a couple little Easter eggs. But the one I hate is when Andy jumps down the elevator shaft and kills the xenomorph that is trying to kill Rain.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says the famous line from Aliens, "Get away from her, you bitch."
Right.
He says it in his Andy voice,
Right.
And he did a good job. I like the reading of it. He did a fine job reading it, but that is Ripley's line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was just going a little bit too far with the nostalgia.
Gotcha.
Everything else is cool, but that particular thing, if you watch these movies in chronological order, Andy is going to say that before Ripley does in Aliens, and there's no reason for him to say it. While everything else was an homage, and it was, let's put this in the movie so that this feels like it's the same universe, that was purely in there to have the movie wink its eye at the audience. And
I got that. Yeah.
Not a fan of it.
I get that. No, I totally get that. I agree. I mean, if you are going to watch it in order, then yeah, that's a bummer because it should be her. You should hear it from her first, from Ripley. So I get that. I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I got to ask you, have you seen Prometheus?
Yeah, I did. Like when it first came out.
Have you seen Alien Covenant?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Interesting. Okay. That's all I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the beginning of this movie so that you understand how this picks up after Alien.
Okay, yeah.
So, and forgive us, everybody. Andrew is not a huge fanatic of this universe. So there are certain things that he just didn't really pick up on, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But that's what we're here to talk about. So a lot of this stuff, everybody's going to be like, well, of course.
Right. But I don't know.
But you don't know. So the ship in Alien is the Nostromo. At the end of the movie, Ripley, they set the self-destruct on the Nostromo. She gets away in the escape pod, and the Nostromo blows up.
Right. I remember that.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Right. That's right. I do remember that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, remember that amazing scene?
Yes.
And then the xenomorph, we find out, is in the escape pod with Ripley. And after a little bit of back and forth and some tense action, Ripley blows it out of the airlock.
That's
from the escape pod. And she shoots it with the little grappling, little torpedo gun, whatever it was. And it's blown out into space. So this movie begins with a ship that we don't know. And it is flying through the remains of the Nostromo. It captures this thing in space. And we very quickly find out as they bring it onto their ship and then carry it away. They open it up and carry something away from it. We find out that it was some sort of a cocoon that the xenomorph from the first movie from Alien had wrapped around its body somehow. It had created this cocoon in space, and so they had found it. And that's all we really know.
Okay.
But the movie itself, the bulk of Alien Romulus takes place in a space station that is up above this planet, up above Jackson's Star mining colony. I don't know if the planet is called Jackson's Star, but the mining colony that Rain is in is called Jackson's Star Mining Colony.
Right. Okay.
So this space station that is in orbit up above this planet is made up of two halves, Remus and Romulus.
Right.
But it is not the Nostromo. The Nostromo is gone. Everything from the Nostromo is destroyed.
Right.
So, do you have your bearings a little bit better now?
No, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So, and that's it. That's the movie.
There you go.
Oh, there's so many questions I have for you.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I mean, there's so many things like the things I mentioned, the CG of Rook and the line.
Right.
The get away from her line. Those are the only things I didn't like in this movie. Everything else I absolutely loved. I thought it was a perfect movie otherwise.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's your number 4, man.
and it's maybe your number one.
Maybe. Yeah, it was really good.
Well, tell me some stuff you loved about this movie.
Okay, let me go through. I love the characters, but I genuinely loved Rain and Andy. I loved their the way they interacted with each other. I loved the actors playing the characters. I thought they were fantastic. Cailee, Spaeny, and David Jonsson were wonderful. They were so fun, and I loved their chemistry. I loved everything about them. I genuinely wanted them both to be safe through the whole movie. Even after Andy gets that upgrade, I really wanted him to go. I liked how he acted. He was, again, phenomenal actor. But I really wanted him to go back to the way he was. I was like, I miss Andy. I want Andy back. And so when he does, I was like, oh, good. There they are. And it was just, I don't know. I loved them. They were just so sweet. There were some great scenes. The water scene was phenomenal.
Which water scene?
Where the babies get out in the water when they're in there trying to, I can't remember. Oh, thank you. The face huggers. They're trying to get the whatever you call it out for the sleep. And they're in the room and it gets locked and they come out in the water. I thought was so good. Because, water is creepy, but even in just that amount of water, I was like, ooh, this is creepy, man. This is a good scene. I thought that was a really, really well done scene and very creepy and fun.
Well, it's also creepy because, the face hugger was so scary in Alien. In the very first movie, it attaches to John Hurt.
Right.
We see right away how dangerous it is and how it's a scary creature. It's like a spider crab-like creature. And so to have so many of them in a single scene in this movie was terrifying. There were some people that were saying that they thought the face huggers were more terrifying than the actual xenomorphs. So
yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, because there's even the scene where they have to be quiet, and there's however many of those running around. It is frightening. It's very scary.
Yeah.
So it's hard to argue with that. They're very scary in this movie. I don't know, man. I loved everything. This was a fun movie. I liked Rook. I know we already kind of talked about that, but I really did like Rook. I'm going to go with it. I love that she did take the chip out of Rook and use that. I thought that was very interesting and fun. And again, I loved the actor. I thought he did such a good job of going from before Andy to after Andy. I really loved how smart Rain was in this. In the moment where they're kind of backed up to a corner and she turns on anti-gravity or whatever it's called, and they all float, and then she starts shooting them so that the acid doesn't go through the floor right away. I thought that was so smart. I sat there and was like, oh, brilliant. I love it.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. Yeah. And I loved that whole scene as well with them floating, dodging acid in the air or whatever, in the gravity. I thought was such a fantastic and horrifying scene. I thought the deaths in this were pretty brutal, but I'm not going to talk. Well,
no,
obviously. I thought that they were brutal. I thought they were all pretty good. I thought dying by acid is horrible. That would be one of the worst ways to go, having acid drip on you. I thought, oh gosh, yeah, the end as well with giving birth to a human-alien hybrid is pretty brutal, pretty rough. I did like the design, and I know that actor's done lots of other things as well, and I'm going to butcher his name. Robert Bobrovsky, I think is how you pronounce it, but who played kind of that's the only thing. I lied. I totally thought he was someone else. That's awesome. Wonderful. But I thought that was a cool design, a cool setup, or a cool look. Yeah, I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought it was cool. I thought it was well-paced. I liked the suspense. I liked the characters. I really, like I said, I don't have bad notes for this movie, man. I thought it was a joyous time.
See, I was curious. I wanted to hear all of this because I was curious what you loved about this movie, because I loved all the same things, but my love for this movie also extends to how well it fit into the Alien universe and how much care Fede Alvarez gave to making sure that this respected the Alien universe, and it included so many little things from the other movies. But, so I have that appreciation for it. For instance, the chest bursting scene.
Right.
You know, it was obviously one of the most famous scenes from the first Alien.
Right.
We've seen the alien burst out of his chest, John Hurt's chest. In other movies, we've seen an alien burst out somebody's back. I remember thinking it was so freaking cool that they introduced this X-ray baton.
Oh,
If you put it on one side of your body, you can see the bones and muscle or whatever through the skin and everything. And I loved that when she felt something moving in there, she put it behind her, and that you could actually see the baby xenomorph starting to break through her rib cage and her chest. And that was horrifying.
Yeah. Yep.
But I absolutely loved it.
I know. No, I agree. Yeah, that was a very cool idea and a very cool way to show that. I agree. I think that was a very effective.
The main thing I love about this movie is I love the fact that they could have just done a simple being stalked through the corridors alien movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much more than that. It was a movie about a space heist.
Right.
You know, they wanted to get the cryo stuff from this space station so that they could get off of this horrible planet that they're on.
Right.
Because this mining planet that they're on, the sun never comes out. It's always hidden. They never see it. It's nighttime, 24 hours. It actually shows a little graphic that says 0 days of daylight a year. Or 0 hours of daylight. At the beginning of the movie, Rain thinks that she's going to be transporting off of this planet to a different planet where she can actually see the sun and there is more environment to it. But then she finds out that because of bureaucracy and whatnot, they've said that she has to stay on this planet for another 5 years or longer. And it's, you know, it was a depressing feeling watching her go through that.
Mm-hmm.
So then she finds out that her friends want to escape off this planet. They want to get this cryo stuff because this planet that they're trying to go to is 9 years flight away. So they need to sleep through all of that.
Right.
And that's why they go up to Remus/Romulus, the space station. I also love that once they get there and they're trying to do this heist, they're trying to steal this stuff, they are then also under the time limit of this space station drifting down into the rings of this planet.
Right, yes.
And at the beginning, they have like something like 40-something hours, plenty of time to do what they need to do and get off. But because of certain things that happen, that time is dramatically shortened.
Right.
It was just, to me, that was brilliant.
I like that too. I mean, it goes, from like 48 hours to an hour. I mean, it's a drastic change, which of course adds to the suspense, which agreed. I loved it.
Definitely. There were so many images in this movie that I loved. There's so many great shots of Cailee Spaeny or Rain. Just her waking up and the way the camera puts her on the left side of the frame while showing her little cabin on the right side, and she's just sitting there trying to wake up at the very beginning of the movie. There's shots of her looking down at David at a certain part later in the movie. There are just amazing shots when the ship that they're on, I forget the name of their ship, but when it shoots up into the atmosphere and it goes up into space, when it breaks free from the clouds and you see that far shot of it and the music comes up, it's just so beautiful and is so brilliant. I agree. Galo Olivares is the cinematographer on this movie, and he did such an amazing job.
100% agree with you. This was, again, we've talked about this before, but this one, I agree. There was so many shots that as I was watching, I was like, that'd be a cool poster. That'd be a cool poster. That'd be a cool poster. Which I always think is I think that's high praise just to how great that they do, that he did.
Oh my God. No wonder I love this guy so much.
What else?
You haven't seen it yet, but he also did Gretel and Hansel.
Oh, okay. Right on.
The movie I just kind of talked about with Justin Beam.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. Okay.
Wow. And that is such a gorgeous movie. I am a huge fan of this guy now, and I want to see everything that he's done.
Awesome. I love it.
So yeah, I love all that. I particularly love the music. My God.
I would agree with you on this one. I do know the music on this one, or I remembered it.
It is perfect. Like, this is maybe my favorite music score of last year. I don't know. I'd have to go through them. But the composer was one of my favorite composers of the moment. His name is Benjamin Wallfisch.
Nice.
He did the score for Annabelle Creation.
Nice. Yeah, dude.
And It Chapters 1 and 2.
Awesome. Very cool.
He is one of my favorites, and I love that he was able to create such a cinematic score for this movie, which through different themes pays homage to all the movies that surround it. There's themes from Alien, there's themes from Aliens.
Mm-mm.
And let me tell you, buddy, when they walked into the lab on the Romulus module, where they found the experiments that they were doing with the black oil or black ink or whatever you want to call it, and he started playing the Prometheus theme, I lost my cool in the theater just a little bit. I was
That's
just
awesome.
like, wow. So, because that surprised me. I knew that this movie was going to pay homage to Alien and Aliens,
Right.
but I had no idea. Nobody knew how far this he was going to go with the lore of the movies.
Right.
Like, I remember when he announced this movie, and I was like, I'm not sure, because I heard this is not a sequel to Prometheus and Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what to think. I hope he keeps those movies as lore, doesn't ignore that they exist. And he did not ignore them. He went even further with them. He took the lore that Ridley Scott created for those two movies, and he just moved it forward in this movie.
Nice.
So I was super excited with the Prometheus theme, and then I'm going to jump to the end here.
Okay.
Now, there are differing opinions on the ending. Some people don't like the creature at the end.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And let's see what they call it in here.
Yeah.
Well, they just call it the offspring in the credits. But, this is a creature, just to recap, Isabela Merced as Kay is pregnant in this movie.
Right.
The xenomorph gets her. The main xenomorph gets her at one point. And we think she's dead, but then we find out that it has attached her to the wall, just like they did in Aliens, where they attach humans to the wall to impregnate them with the facehuggers, which I'm not sure, but I feel like this is the first time we got a real name for the facehuggers, because David and Rook both call them parasitoids.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we've always just called them facehuggers. They never call them facehuggers in the movie, I don't think, or any of the movies. But yeah, we finally call them parasitoids. So, but yeah, so the aliens, the xenomorphs, I shouldn't say aliens, but the xenomorphs attach her to the wall where she will most likely get impregnated. But I think the fact that she's injured and impregnated, I think they say is the reason that they don't, or she hasn't been impregnated yet.
He says something about that. I remember, something about her wound, I think, or injury. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, she escapes off onto their ship, and she injects herself. Rain stops Andy from injecting her with the black stuff, but then she injects herself, and that was questionable for me. It was like, why would she do that to herself? But maybe she felt like she was dying and she really wanted this second chance. So what happens is that she gives birth to a huge egg that has what looks like a baby, a human baby inside. But this thing grows into this really tall thing that resembles the engineers from the first movie, from Prometheus. So when I saw the creature design, I was, again, overjoyed, because I'm a huge fan of Prometheus. I'm actually also a huge fan of Alien Covenant.
Okay, right on.
I know a lot of people have problems with those movies, but I legitimately love those movies. And I remember talking to our friend JD about the lore behind these movies and what they meant, and all these little mysteries that Ridley Scott was introducing with these movies. And we had such a good time trying to figure out the puzzle of everything. So, yeah, I loved the design of this creature.
Yeah.
Did you?
I did. No, I was totally on board. Yeah, I was. It was creepy, man. It was really creepy. I like it. It's a human, xenomorph hybrid. It looks like it could be. So
Yeah.
I was on board, man. I thought it was creepy, and I thought that whole scene was a lot of fun too, of her, trying to kind of run from it.
Yeah.
But
oh,
that
yeah.
was a cool scene. Yeah.
Our friend Scott Rogers,
Yeah.
I was chatting with him really briefly about it, and he had a problem with how fast the thing grew. And I think other people do too, because it does grow from a little baby into a big, tall creature really fast.
Right.
I was okay with that because we're talking about the black goo.
Right.
And we don't know how the black goo really works. So it was just, that's what happened,
Yeah. That didn't bother me at all. I was fine with it growing super fast.
Plus, the creature came up and started feeding on Kay.
Yeah, dude.
Which was creepy looking as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I was like, ee.
And I will say, like, I just remember being in the theater, there were certain things. The chest bursting scene with the X-ray baton was one, but the other one was when Rain comes up and she sprays I think it's the cryo gun, the nitrous, whatever it is, the cold stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Nitrous and nitrogen. I don't know.
Yeah, the Terrifier 3 spray.
Stop.
But when she sprays it and she's running away from the thing and the lights are flashing through the smoke, through this mist, and you see its shadow.
Yeah.
Every single time I watch that scene, I cringe and I'm just like, it's just such a scary moment.
For sure. No, yeah, talk about like slasher moments, where you just see that something in the background, that thing coming, and you're like, I totally had the same thought. I just was like, oh gosh, get out of there.
Yeah. So yeah, I liked all that. I love how she got away from it. I love how she got rid of it. I felt all of that was really smart.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I just love that. And like you, I also love the gravity scene with the alien acid. I thought that was so clever.
Very clever. And it made for such a cool scene where not only is she avoiding acid in this, but there's still some aliens after her as well as she's shooting them. I mean, it was just a cool scene, man. It reminded me of a video game, of just being in a level where you're trying to dodge things and attack at the same time. It was really cool. It was really well done. I loved it.
And it was one of two scenes that were so good that the fact that they defied belief just a little bit, I was okay with it because the scene is so cool. Like the other one is when they're going through the hallway with all the parasitoids.
Yep.
And they have to be quiet. And I'm like, okay, she just made a lot of noise bumping into this body hanging.
Yep. I had that same thought.
Like, okay. But I see that also led to the call from Kay to Tyler, in which she's trying to get away from the xenomorph.
Right.
And you see the face huggers all start to move around, and then there's that drop in volume. The audio just drops out, and Andy goes, "Run."
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just such a great scene. Great.
Agreed. And I did love that scene too with Kay, and between the door where she's asking for help, and Tyler's like, "Get her out of there, Andy," and he's like, "Nope, not gonna do it." And I love that the camera kind of zooms up and we see the xenomorph watching. It's totally a trap. And I was like, it's just a cool moment where you're like, yeah, if they open it, they're done. I mean, they're gonzo, but I just love it sitting there watching. It was so creepy.
And it's also brilliant because if you watch the movie a second time, you see the part where Kay is underneath the walkway and she's looking up, and the xenomorph is actually just right above her looking down at her.
Oh, nice.
And I remember thinking, why doesn't it just get her now? It sees her.
Right.
But
Smart.
then it acted like it didn't see her because it was setting a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
That's cool. That's cool.
I love that.
Me too. Again, a really great scene of just great acting. Like, I really liked that moment. I just thought, well, yeah, Tyler, of course, wants her out, and she wants to get out. It was just really, between the two of them as well, I thought they both did a fantastic job of genuine fear, you know?
Yeah, and then Rain realizing how different Andy is now with the new chip.
Yep.
You know, I thought that was brilliant because, of course, yeah, Andy basically saved Tyler and Rain.
Right.
Because if they had opened that door, the Xeno would have gotten him.
Right.
Yeah. I've mentioned Cailee, Spaeny, and you've mentioned them both.
Right,
But
right.
I gotta say, David Jonsson
Yeah, dude.
was absolutely the other standout in this movie.
Yep.
Like, Cailee Spaeny did an amazing job as Rain.
Agreed.
She played a character who, she's just smart.
Yes, that's it. Yes, exactly.
And because of how smart she is kind of, you know, she is kind of a badass, you know?
Right. Totally.
But she's not like a super strong. I mean, Fede brought back what made Ripley such a amazing character. Because Ripley was just an ordinary person.
Right. Right.
She wasn't super strong or anything like that. She was just an ordinary person trying to get away from this thing that's trying to kill her.
Right.
And making smart decisions. And that's what Rain did. She's just trying to get away. She's trying to get off this station. She's just trying to find a better life for her and her android brother, who to her is a real person.
Right. Right.
So real, in fact, that she goes back for him when she could have just escaped.
Yep.
So,
but I love that she did, and I love that she took the chip out, and we get our Andy back, man. I was happy. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I've talked about it too, but I'll piggyback off that. I mean, they both were. I think that's part of why I loved this movie so much. Was all the acting, but I just felt I loved both of them. I loved both their characters. I loved them so much that I think that was part of why I loved this movie so much. Is I was genuinely rooting for the two of them the entire time, and I was really happy to see that both lived. I was like, yes. Usually we get one. We're getting two. I love it. You know, we get two survivors.
Well,
And
kind of.
Yeah, kind
One's
of.
an android.
It's still survivors.
Now, Bjorn is another character.
Yeah.
Because I liked all the characters to an extent. Bjorn was the one that bothered me, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too.
And it's supposed to. He's supposed to. But then we find out that the reason he hates Andy, or the reason he's so flippant with Andy, is because an android trapped his mother in a mine, but it sealed off this part of the mine after a gas leak to save all the other miners.
Right.
It made an impossible decision, and unfortunately, Bjorn's mom died because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a thing against androids now.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that, and that adds so much more weight to Andy's decision to not save Kay.
Right.
To save Tyler and Rain.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. I do love that. Isabela Merced as Kay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I think we all know her as Dora the Explorer.
That's funny. That is funny. I gotta look.
What
really
did you
quick.
What did you know her from? I think we've seen her in another movie that we've done, but I could be wrong.
Yes. No, I know we have. Oh, I know her from. I mean, I did actually watch Dora. It was funny. I'm not gonna lie. That movie was funnier than it had any right to be. But I knew her from a movie called Instant Family, which is
okay.
It's charming. It's a charming movie. But she's, and I believe she's in the upcoming Superman.
She is not in any of the movies that we have covered.
Okay.
Before this one.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, she was great. I also thought Aileen Wu was amazing.
Yeah.
As Navarro. I liked Navarro because at the beginning you think she's such a hard ass. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But then it turns out that she's actually probably more scared than any of them when she comes face to face with one of the facehuggers, and like she freezes up when they're trying to save the guys from the cryo room with all the facehuggers.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I just, yeah, you're right. They are all great characters, but I do feel the same way about all the alien characters.
And believe me, I know I'm in the minority. I totally get that. But this, I don't know. I think you know what part of it was? I don't know. I just found some of them kind of annoying. Like the two that wanted more money for all their work they're doing and blah, blah, blah. Like,
but that's engineers, and you got to understand that they were getting paid nothing.
Right.
You know, these are engineers that keep the ship going.
Right.
They're probably almost more important than anybody else on that ship. All of a sudden, and we're talking about Alien here, just so everybody's not confused. But, you know, all of a sudden they're told that they have to land on this planet and they want more pay. They're like, yeah, we didn't sign up for this. We want to go home.
Right.
You know, I mean, and then look what happens. You know, they go onto this planet and they get infected with this creature, you know.
Right.
I think they're both great.
Yeah, maybe they just have reminded me of people I've like worked with before.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm just like, and not necessarily for like that reason, but just where you're just like, just again, different reasons. But I was just like, just do your job. And again, obviously it's different in this movie, but it just gave me that feeling I've had where I work with people that just drive me nuts, man. It's like,
yeah. But I get that. But, you know, I always understood their point of view, even though they were kind of being a-holes towards like Dallas and the people. But in the end, they were right, because in Alien, the computer is what makes them land on this planet knowing that there is a creature there that is going to infect them.
Right.
And they're Weyland-Yutani, the powers that be, are trying to get this creature back to Earth so that they can weaponize it and make it a military thing.
Right.
And that's all they're ever trying to do. Every single movie is about the corporation trying to screw over the humans to get this creature.
Right.
So there's a lot of lore that goes into what the reasons for that might be that I'm not going to get into.
Okay.
Yeah. Not today. But talking about story, the other thing that I absolutely love is that there is a whole other movie within this movie that we didn't even see, because they brought on this xenomorph that Ripley blew out of the airlock. They brought it onto this space station.
Mm-hmm.
And this xenomorph, it woke up or whatever it did, and it went through the ship and killed everybody on the ship.
True. That's true.
And they killed it. Like, it's stuck in the cables and the acid has gone through all the floors, blah, blah, blah. We see that it's dead.
Right.
I just love that there is an entire story there that we didn't get to see, but we can just imagine.
That's true. And I mean, we do see the bodies. Like you said, where Rain bumps into the dead one, you know, and we see, I think, a couple others or something, but that's cool. I didn't even think of it that way, but I like that. That's totally a whole new story. Huh.
But see, that's my appreciation for this movie, for being a space heist with aliens. If we had gotten that other movie of the original xenomorph on this space station, that just would have been another xenomorph killing people and stalking people through a space station. We've already gotten that.
Right. Yep.
So I like that Fede did a story, you know, the two stories at once. I don't know. I just love that. I love it.
No, I get that. I agree.
Real quick, some of the callbacks to the other movies.
Yeah,
that
please.
You may or may not have noticed. Obviously, what did you think of the very beginning of the movie? Because the very opening of the movie starts in complete silence. So much so that in the movie theater, when I was watching this movie, I was like, is there something wrong with the sound?
Oh, right. Okay.
Because it is complete silence, and then it goes into the ship, and you don't hear anything until the computer comes on.
I don't know if I don't think I sat there and was like, something's wrong. I think I just knew it was quiet. And I did know it was quiet on purpose, because I remember, or at least in my mind, I was saying, oh, it's space. It's quiet. So they're doing this, almost to like set up that in my mind, like, you know, no one can hear anything in space. So I think that was what I was thinking at the time, which is cool, but I don't really have I don't remember liking it or not. I think I just thought, oh, it's space.
I don't usually get into downfalls of watching a movie at home versus theater.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that that's one of the downfalls of watching this one at home, is that I don't know that many people would have thought that. Like, what's wrong with the sound? Where is the sound?
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Whereas in the theater, you know that there's a projection booth and there's stuff that can go wrong, and you're like, what the?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I totally get that.
But yeah, so all the computer stuff is very reminiscent of Alien. They bring back Mother, who is the artificial intelligence on the Nostromo that's talking to Dallas and obviously Ash that we don't know about.
Right.
They're kind of like, I forget what they call them, but they're like card things where you call. That's from Alien Isolation, the video game.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they're just in the background. You just kind of notice them. I did not notice them the first time I saw the movie, but I saw it later that people pointed it out.
That's pretty cool.
Now, the line I was okay with, even though it's exactly from Alien, when they hook Ash back up to ask him about what's going on, and he reveals everything, basically.
Right.
Before they unhook him again, before they destroy him with the flamethrower, he says, I can't lie about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
In this movie, Rook says that to Rain before the gravity acid scene.
Yes.
And see, I did love that because this was the same model android.
Right. That makes sense.
With just a different name. So yeah, it would make sense that he has the same kind of programming.
I like that.
So
that's cool.
I also, the pulse rifle, going back to nods to the other movies.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The pulse rifle is directly from Aliens.
Oh, cool. Right.
So that was the same rifle that they were using in Aliens, the Marines.
Okay. Nice.
But the other thing I do want to mention that I loved is the visuals of the space station crashing into the rocks.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Of the ring going around the planet. Like, see, that's the kind of visuals throughout this movie that I'm in love with every time I watch the movie.
Nice.
And it's just so amazing looking. And especially the idea that they were like, okay, we're going to have this ship crashing into the rings, into all these rocks, and it's just going to be shattered against these rocks. But in this shot, we're going to have one huge rock that is in this ring, and the ship's going to just even crumple even more against this rock.
Nice.
I don't know. That was one of my favorite things because the ring, I've always been fascinated with the rings of Saturn.
Totally fair. Yeah.
So to see rings in this and have them be such a huge part of the movie, I loved.
Nice. It was a cool scene. I agree. Like just watching that ship get destroyed by it was pretty awesome. It was a really cool moment.
And even Rain dangling out of the bottom of the ship at the end, and you see the rings right below her.
Yep.
Dude, so good.
It was. Oh, that was cool.
I think that's basically it. There's so many little things that I could keep going on about, but I mean, yeah, I love this whole movie, except for the two things I mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this was a really fun movie, a really well done movie. Again, I love the characters, man. I really did. And I would be happy to see them again. I'm not sure in what capacity or if they even would, but I would definitely be happy to see both of them again.
They have talked about Fede Alvarez doing a sequel to this movie.
Okay.
So I would imagine we will see Rain again.
Good. Okay. I hope we see Andy too.
And Andy.
Okay,
but,
good.
You know, I think Rain is a really good new star.
Yeah,
You know,
I would agree.
I think they did as much with Ripley as you can possibly do. And more. And then, of course, we have the TV series coming, I think, this year called Alien Earth, which is set in the past, but on Earth. So I'm wondering what that's going to add to the lore.
I wonder what year, because that could totally tie in with a movie that it's tied in with before.
I don't know if they're going to consider those movies canon.
Okay.
And in fact, I think they've said that those movies are not exactly canon.
Oh.
So I'm not sure.
It's like an Elseworlds movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. I'd have to look that up to be sure, though. I'm not really totally sure. But are you ready for 3 questions, my friend?
Let's do it.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
All right, buddy. Question number 1. What was the best death/kill in Alien Romulus?
That is so difficult. But I think I have to go with Navarro. Just because of how seeing the alien bursting through her chest through the X-ray baton just took my breath away when I saw that. And then the alien climbing out of her body, which was all practical.
Awesome. That's really cool.
I thought it was just a great new way to see a chest bursting scene.
Nice. Good one.
What about
That's
you?
A great one. Man, I kind of mentioned it earlier as just an awful death, but Bjorn, I thought watching him get acid on him and watching his finger, like genuinely watch his finger melt off and then it hits his chest and then hits him other places. I was like, that's brutal. I mean, that's a brutal, I haven't seen it. I don't know. It was brutal.
That also brings up something I want to talk about. I meant to talk about this during the main discussion.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I really appreciated about this movie was, H.R. Giger, who designed the original Alien and many of the set pieces within that movie that they have continued to other movies, he always had a very sexual aspect to his art, almost X-rated, obscene.
Gotcha.
If it was any other movie, I don't know if I would have liked this, but I did like that they retained the sexual nature of some of the designs in this movie. For instance, obviously, the cocoon that the xenomorph put itself in, that Bjorn comes up and shoves the electric stick into.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes.
And
yes.
obviously that resembles a sexual act.
Right.
There's a lot of message that could be said there about men taking advantage of women and the damage that they do when they do something like that. Who knows? But the cocoon was very vaginal. And the electric baton was very phallic, as was the back of the alien's skull.
Right.
When the alien comes out of that cocoon, they show the back of its skull and it still has that phallic imagery that H.R. Giger designed with the original xenomorph.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
So I did appreciate that a lot.
Nice.
So thank you for picking Bjorn so that I could remember to bring that up.
That's why I'm here, buddy. That's why I'm here. All right. Question 2. Was this movie scary?
I think this movie was extremely suspenseful. It's not the kind of movie that scares me later, but during the movie, I was very, very tense. Especially, I do think that the design of the offspring at the end of the movie is terrifying. Even more so. I think the facehuggers are creepy as hell.
Right.
I think the xenomorph is terrifying, but I then think that this new creature was even more terrifying than the xenomorph. It's just so tall. It's so creepy looking when it's walking towards you, and that semi-human face is just, is so disturbing.
I totally agree.
What about you, buddy? Did you think this movie was scary?
No, honestly, same thing as you. It was very suspenseful. There was moments, a number of moments where I was definitely on the edge of my seat, but I didn't lose sleep over it, and I wouldn't. But it definitely was suspenseful, and you got white knuckles for a bit of it. So, yeah. We already know, but we got to do it, buddy. Did you have fun with horror?
I had so much fun with horror, my friend. I am so glad you picked this movie.
I didn't, actually.
Wait, I am so glad that I picked this movie for you to watch.
There we go.
So that I could rewatch it.
Good.
So I had such a tremendous time. Did you have fun with horror, Andrew, my love?
I did. I thought this movie was a blast. I really did. I thought it was genuinely fun. So, absolutely. Loved it.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear what you're going to pick next.
We'll see.
God, I want to pick Alien now. Make you watch it, the whole thing. That's such a shock to me.
I know.
I want to do all of the movies. That's right. You and I watched Alien together. Did we watch all 4 of them? We did.
We did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we did.
What? I thought you liked it back then.
What are the odds?
60-40 against your friend.
But odds on what?
Have the creatures finished its job already?
What is he talking about?
Well, Andrew, my good friend, my good buddy.
Hi, buddy.
So now I'm glad you weren't with me the night that I went to see Alien at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery for my birthday.
I mean, well, I would have loved
the one
to have gone to hang
birthday
out with
that
you,
I would not have wanted you there. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh. No, I would have had, even though, I mean, honestly, it could have been Skinamarink and I would have had fun with you because it's with you. So.
Well, now I know what to make you go see at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
As long as we're together, it's all that matters.
Oh my God. I wasted so much time when you were here watching other things when we could have just watched Skinamarink again.
Oh no.
But anyway, Andrew,
yeah.
Speaking of Skinamarink,
yeah.
What is our next movie, my friend?
Buddy, I missed it last year, so now's the time to watch it. And that is Smile 2. We're doing Smile 2. Is that okay? Hello?
Okay, great.
Oh, okay. Did you already watch it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
We talked about in our last episode that I was curious because I didn't like it as much as other people did.
Oh, right.
I'm curious as to what you think. So
I'm down to watch it, man. As you know, I mean, it was like we said, it was one that I did want to watch and missed. I'm like, I should probably get that out.
So the funny thing about this and the timing of it is that when I watched it in December, I felt like I had to pause it because you remember Smile and the anxiety that the movie instills in the viewer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, so you can imagine that continues in the second movie.
Right.
Without spoilers.
Right.
Because of the state of mind that I was in, I had to pause it because the movie was making me too anxious. So I paused it because I knew I had a doctor's appointment the next morning and I was nervous about that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait and finish it tomorrow after the doctor's appointment. So I'm going to try and wait on this one, you know, and watch it at the last second.
If you want, I can pick something else.
No.
I really don't mind.
No, because part of talking about a movie is talking about your frame of mind when you saw it and stuff like that. So, and I'm very curious as to what you think. And I have been wanting to revisit this movie to see if my opinion changes at all now that I know what to expect from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people prefer this one over the original Smile.
See, that's what I had heard and kind of saw. So I've just been curious about it.
So yeah, this is going to be an interesting movie.
All right.
To talk about. I'm really looking forward to talking about it. So
good. Okay.
I was hoping you'd pick it at some point so that we could talk about it because I'm so curious as to what you think.
Good. All right. Well, there you go. And if people do want to watch it, it is streaming on Paramount Plus.
Ooh.
Or Fubo, if you have Fubo.
Fubo.
But other than that, rent, buy, all the places. So.
There it is.
There it is, buddy.
Smile 2.
Smile 2.
Something I won't do for a long time.
Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And that's the end of our episode. Bye, guys. No. Hey. Everybody, thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much.
Real quick, I just want to shout out one of our very faithful listeners, Kate. If you're out there listening, thank you so much for the shirt that I'm wearing again. Kate heard me mentioning the cult in one of my Demons episodes that I did for Scotty's Alone Time. She actually had tickets to go see the cult, and when she went, she picked up a t-shirt and got me one. So I'm wearing a concert t-shirt for the cult. She was so nice to send this to me. Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate you. And yeah, I wanted to say that. I wanted to say thank you to everybody for listening. You know, we said it in our last episode, Andrew, but we are now getting more listeners than we've ever had.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome.
Which is crazy because I feel like I'm not advertising as much, but people are listening. We're getting quite a few a day. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying because of that, I'm so thankful to everybody listening to this podcast. It's, it means so much to me, and I know it means so much to you.
Yes, seriously, thank you. It's awesome. It really is cool to see that people are hopefully enjoying this. And Kate, thank you too, because I get to look at Scotty wearing this shirt, and boy howdy, Mama mia, you know? So thank you, Kate.
Oh, man. Thank you, everybody, for leaving reviews. If you have, if you haven't, please, as we've said before, go on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and a review to help get us out to even more people. And we have a Patreon. And once things calm down this year, we will be posting some more stuff to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I just keep posting. At the beginning of every month, I do the movies I watched during the last month and what I thought of them. It's called What the Hell Did Scotty Just Watch? And I do that once a month. But we do need to get some more stuff out there, and we will. We just need this year to calm the hell down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chill out, 2025.
It's like, who do you think you are? You know?
Yeah. Who do you think you are? 2016? 2020? Who do you think you are?
Yeah. Come on. Back off.
Stupid year. I love you, Andrew.
I love you, Scotty. Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? He needed space.
I'm begging you, you got to stop.
I just spent my full share on a belt that won't fit. Huge waste.
See that cornbread?
Maybe it's because I'm on this seafood diet. Seafood, I eat it.
It's so bad.
You always laughed at that one.
Yeah, when I was 12.